Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Boy Meets Wok. Today we're cooking dish 3 of 8 as we work towards Chinese New Year 2021, braised pork belly. This is my first time attempting this, and I'll give you the TLDR and say they came out delicious and were gone in a matter of minutes. This dish is actually really simple to make. It's only a few ingredients, about 5 or 6 total. You just want to have quality ingredients and time to make this work properly. As you can see, I'm starting out with some pork belly. I've got about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds here. I'm going to first start by cutting these into 3/4 to 1 inch slices. How thick you want them is entirely up to you. I know what my kids like to eat, so I kept it to a smaller size. But you don't want to cut them too thick as they may not cook evenly. Now, to help this braise along and clean our pork belly of any impurities, I'm also going to blanch this for about 4 to 5 minutes in boiling water. Afterwards, we're going to rinse them in cold water to cool them down. Then we're going to get set on making our braise. I'll finish these up. See you on the other side. You may notice the pork isn't really raw anymore, but we definitely don't want to eat it in this texture. This is just to help the braise along and clean the meat up a little bit. I'm now going to get my main wok onto some heat. I'm cooking at about medium-high heat right now. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of yellow rock sugar and then get my pork in afterwards. The goal here is to start to sear my pork a little bit, get some brown on it, because we're not going to achieve that brown when it's covered in liquid. I'm going to work this for a few minutes as long as I need to, eventually getting some browning on the sides of my pork, and we're ready to add our braising liquid. The braising liquid for this dish is actually pretty simple. It's just water, 2 types of soy sauce, Shaoxing cooking wine. Full recipes down below. I'm going to throw a cover on top of this, let it cook for about 45 to 50 minutes, an hour if needed, until my pork is fork tender. I actually ended up leaving the cover only half on for the last 10 to 15 minutes, which started evaporating my sauce a little bit, but I ended up with some really nice fork tender pork here. Go ahead and scoop this out into a separate plate because we're not done yet. We want to actually reduce this sauce down till we get the consistency that we prefer. We're going to skim off some of that fat that came from the pork belly as well. I think this is where personal preference certainly takes over. I turned my heat up to about medium-high heat. You can see my sauce is definitely moving, and I noticed a huge layer of fat collected at the top from the pork belly. I went ahead and grabbed a ladle and started to skim some of that off, just gently sweeping around the side to get that fat off. If it's something you're interested in, certainly leave it there. When your sauce gets down to your consistency of choice, go ahead and add your pork back in. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, I want to get the heat back on the pork. Number 2, I want that final flavor to seep into anything I've got left in the pork before I plate it up. Right here is where your personal preference takes over again. I've seen multiple versions of this dish be super sticky towards the end. I actually like a little sauce left over so we can add it to our rice. Look at that consistency. This is going to turn out great, I think. I grabbed a quick bowl. I'm going to go ahead and plate my pork up and get it served because everyone is wondering where this is. I just scooped it together and then ladled my sauce over the pork in the exact same dish and served it this way. I didn't go crazy with an elaborate plating. I said to myself, this pork stands on its own. It's delicious and tasty as it is. Why do anything else? This was a really fun recipe to make. It's my first time, and I already see areas where I want to improve when I try it again. I hope you enjoyed this. Follow me for even more delicious food.